What's up, everybody? This is Larry.
And I'm Arnisa. Welcome back to the Short Talk Podcast, where we take long conversations about love, marriage, and everything in between and keep it
short. All right, today we talking about the wedding planning part. Oh my God, like I can't even begin to start talking about this. What about you?
Yeah. The wedding process wasn't real long, but it was definitely a planning process that we had to go through.
Yeah, we definitely had to go through some budgeting, had to make cuts here and there. Wanted to spend as least money as possible, but have a big wedding, and I think we sort of pulled it off.
Yeah, we did. So to get our planning started, we kind of just discussed with each other what we wanted in a wedding and what our thoughts were as far as ceremony and do we want a church wedding, outside wedding, and those type of things. Like, what was your thought process about the actual wedding?
I just wanted a real traditional wedding, just me, you, a little bit of family, the priest, of course, and just some people just go all out when you talk about bridesmaids and groomsmen. They got about 20 of them guys, and I'm just like, nah, just make it kind of like simple. So I ain't want nothing really too big.
Right. For me, I wouldn't mind it being a little bit bigger than it was, but I was happy that it was mostly family and friends, because a wedding and a wedding without your family and your friends involved.
Oh yeah, you definitely gotta have them there. I mean, I had most of my family there. Majority of all the families that I have that normally come to all my events was there, and your side was front to back.
It was deep,
and I had like a little patch of people in the whole church. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was real deep. So one of the things that we tried to come up with was a budget. We didn't have an actual number for the wedding, but we did know we didn't want to be in debt when the wedding was over.
Nah, we wanted to really just kind of put our money to the most specific parts, like the dress, the suit,
right?
Some of the decor, and the food, of course, because we love to eat.
Yeah, so we definitely love to eat.
Yeah, so we try to hit those points to make sure that, our money was spent in the right place.
Right, but when you're doing like a budget-friendly wedding, there gonna be some things you got to cut out that may not be exactly what you want it to be. But it's more about the actual day and the vows that you're taking to be with that person.
Yeah, that was about number one. It's about the vows that you take and having to, knowing that you're going to spend the rest of your life with this person, just basically just sitting in your mind like, okay, like, I want to make it kind of memorable, but at the same time, not losing the gist of
what it is.
Yeah, what it is.
Yeah. So for our actual wedding day, we decided to do a church wedding. We decided to do a church wedding because I come from a church family, and so does Larry. But my family definitely come from church, so that was like my suggestion at the time.
Yeah, it was, it was her family's church, her aunt and her uncle church. And so I was down with it. I had been knowing them since I've been knowing her, and she wanted to be close to her family, so we decided to do it at her aunt and her uncle church.
Yeah, and we didn't have to pay for it. It was free, so that was a good thing for the budget.
The budget, yeah. Check on the budget.
Right.
For real.
So we didn't have to pay for a venue. We ended up having it at the church, and we decided to have a wedding party that consisted of a total of 3 bridesmaids and 3 groomsmen.
Yeah.
And from there, we got our, I ended up getting my dress at Davis Bridal at the time, and I think I paid like $160 altogether for the dress.
Yeah, nice.
And I think the bridesmaids only paid about $60 for their dresses, so we kind of kept it real small.
I don't even remember how much I paid for my dress.
Your dress?
I mean, my suit, my bad. You had me confused, my suit, my bad. I don't even remember how much I paid for it. But I know I went to...
It was Men's Warehouse.
What, Men's Warehouse?
Yeah, it was Men's Warehouse.
Yeah, it was Men's Warehouse. Yeah, that time was, yeah. And I got my brother and my wife, 2 cousins were my groomsmen at the time. Like I said, I wanted my cousin to be in it, but he couldn't be in it, so.
Yeah. I think he was going to school at
the time.
Yeah,
he was going to school at the time, so. Yeah, that's one of them things that I really didn't want to spend that much money on either, but I knew I had to look good. So I spent a little bit of a penny out.
You know something funny I remember about that?
What the?
I bet you don't even remember this.
What?
I remember when you got your suit and you like it was the actual wedding day. Do you remember that your suit was kind of too big?
Yeah. Oh snap! I didn't even think about that. I forgot all about that. I had to take it back, right? Or something
you
like
had to
that.
take it back. But I remember it still being too big. Like they didn't hem it well at the bottom.
Still, yeah, it was still kind of big on me a little bit. Even if you look at it on the pictures, it's like kind of hanging off me.
If we had to do another wedding, would you want to like go back to a place like that, or would you prefer just to like customize?
Now I would definitely get it customized and have it perfect the way that I wanted it.
The fit.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. Do you, going back on our wedding day, do you wish you could have changed something
about the wedding day?
Yeah, about the wedding day.
The only thing I would have wanted to change is to have like more family and friends there. Like we had family and friends there, but there were some people that like didn't get to attend, like maybe because they didn't get an invitation in time because we really like had issues like getting invitations out, so it kind of like delayed the process. But as far as the actual like ceremony, there's nothing I would change. But when we talk about the reception part, definitely.
Yeah, that reception was, it was budget. It had budget written all over.
Written all over. Written all over.
Yeah, all over it, for real. So we went on, we got our suits, our dresses, and leading up to our wedding, up to the wedding day, we had somewhat of a bachelorette party. Yeah. I went to the club, of course, with my brother. Me and my brother went to the club. They didn't shut it down now. I forgot the name of it, but
right.
But I remember.
I think was it Trax Lounge over here, but it was called Soho. That's what it was called.
Soho.
It was called Soho.
Yeah, Soho. Yeah, went there. Didn't want to go too far, and I remember that night getting pulled over by the police. I
remember you told me.
I tell you that story like years after we got married.
Yeah, I'm about to say he didn't tell me initially. Right. He told me like later.
So I got pulled over, and he took me and he got me out the car and had me doing the whole walking with my, you know what I'm saying?
A sobriety test.
Oh my God, I was like, man, I'm finna go to jail.
And I was gonna be so mad.
But he let me ride that night though, cause he told me congratulations. I told him I was getting married. Congratulations.
Like shout out to whoever who you was, cause you gonna have.
I swear to God, when I got back in the car, my brother laughed so hard. He was like, "Bro, you better be praying to God that you didn't go to jail tonight." Yeah. I remember that was a funny part about that.
Yeah, it would have been terrible.
Yeah. So what you do?
Well, I remember like. Not the actual like night before the wedding, but it was probably like a week before. Some of my cousins on my dad's side had kind of planned a little, bachelorette party. And y'all, they hired a stripper. But when I tell you, this guy was so ratchet. So ratchet. It just was not it for me.
Whoa.
First ratchet. Of all, his name was like Sincere to start the whole thing off. I remember, because I remember ratchet. Being like, man, they about to be real left. So he came to the little, it was supposed to be a bachelorette party, and y'all, it was not good. I would rather just stay home because it was terrible.
Wow.
It was terrible.
Really? That bad?
It was that bad.
Yeah.
It was that bad. He tried to be all sweaty and stuff, and I don't be with all that sweat. It just wasn't the vibe. Yeah.
Like, so what, he grinding?
Not on me, because I put him off on somebody else, because all this, he was too sweaty, and I was like, nah, man, I'm good.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But the actual night before the wedding, I just decided, like, me and my best friend, actually, we, like, went to my mom's house, and I just stayed over there for the night. We, like, kind of talked and chilled because she was going to do my hair for my actual wedding day. So she just stayed over there with me, and we kind of, like, basically stayed up all night and kind of talked and got up early and started to get ready.
Yeah, so, yeah, basically that's how it was that day of waking up. Of course, I was kind of out of it because of the night before. I was kind of.
So you hung over.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little bit hungover.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. You keep throwing that little bit in there. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna stick to it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a little bit hungover.
Okay.
And was just dragged and getting myself like together that whole morning, trying to figure out like, oh man, let me make sure I don't look like it. You know what I'm saying? But of course I did, because she could see it running all over my face.
Of course I could see it when you've been with somebody a long time.
Yeah, when you. So do you believe that's a bad idea, going too hard on your bachelor?
Yeah, if it's the night before, I do, because I feel like you don't want to have anything to take away from the actual day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like if you want to go out and all of that stuff, you should do it like maybe like a week or 2 weeks prior, but not like the night before. I feel like you should kind of like just hone in on yourself and like just think about the step you're about to take and just go from there.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a bad idea.
Well,
I'm looking back
at it now,
but when you're young, you do crazy stuff like that, and yeah, trust me, I'll never do that again. I wouldn't advise nobody to do that ever again.
Definitely don't do that again.
Nah.
Yeah, so on the actual day, I got to the church and I was actually running late, which was like, who want to be late today on wedding? Oh, and speak of which, y'all, how about I had to pick up my own wedding cake for my wedding day?
Wow.
I would never forget. I had to stop at Walmart, and yes, I got my wedding cake from Walmart at the time, but we had to make a stop and pick up the cake. I remember being so mad that I had to go pick up my own cake on my own wedding day.
That's great. Who's supposed to pick up the cake?
We ain't gonna put that person on blast, but I remember exactly who it was.
Oh, okay. So we playing them games. Okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah, I remember I got there later than you though.
Did you?
Yeah, you was there already, and we was late.
Do you remember exactly what time our wedding was supposed to start?
Was it like 1?
No, you way off.
Am I? What?
You off. It was supposed to start at 3.
3?
Yeah, it was supposed to start
Oh
at
yeah,
3
I remember you wrote it on on our bootleg what the name that we had at the time.
Invitations?
Our bootleg invitations at the time that we couldn't get printed. We had to get the cards and write on them. Use
about what time the wedding started. But yeah, our wedding was supposed to start at 3, and I think I arrived to the church at 2:30. But my aunt did tell me that if anybody were to run late, it was the bride only and nobody else. But I still got there on time because I wanted to start on time.
Yeah, we started a little bit late. Did we start a little bit late?
Maybe 10 minutes
about
at
10
most.
minutes late.
It wasn't that late.
On time.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah,
it was sort of on time. I remember the whole layout, the whole setup, the whole walk-in. And, I remember you walking down the aisle.
What did you think about me walking down the aisle initially?
I thought you were like great. I thought you were looking like the baddest chick in the room at the time.
Were you nervous?
I was nervous as you know what. You feel me? Like I was up there sweating behind my ears, on my back, everywhere. I'm like, oh man. You sure you're making the right decision? You sure you're making the right decision? And it was like one of those kind of leap in head first type situations. So, I was like, well, let's just do it. I'm already up here in the suit.
My knees actually almost gave out walking down the aisle.
For real?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
My daddy was like dying laughing at me. Nobody could tell that we were talking. But I'm like, I remember whispering to him like, dang, Dad, like my leg locking up. I think I'm about to fall like that. And he was like, girl, don't you fall out of here. And like, the way he said it kind of like made me laugh and kind of like got me together. So I was able to get down the aisle.
Yeah, I remember getting you in the aisle, getting you up on the altar. Yeah, and him handing you off. And I know y'all were like laughing. I was like, he must have said something to her. You said something to her.
My dad is silly.
Yeah, I know. But that day, I will always remember the people in our lives at the time that was there. Right. And the people that are not here now. Yeah. They really prayed for us to have a good marriage at that time. So,
yeah, we had a lot of support, and I was really thankful for that because it's really good to have support when you're young like that. Yeah. But we had a lot of support from our families, and that was good.
Even when some people felt like it was a bad idea at the time, you know what I'm saying? We still kind of like stuck to it.
Well, because at the end of the day, it was our decision, and a lot of times you should think about that when you get married. Like there may be people that don't agree with you, or maybe like feel like it's not the time. But at the end of the day, just do what's best for you. Don't worry about what anybody else has to say. As long as you and that person love each other, then that's all that matters.
Yeah, because it's your life. You know, you the one that gotta live it. You the one that gotta make the choices and live with the consequences.
Yeah. So after our ceremony, which didn't last long because we did not want to have a long, drawn out ceremony, and we got a chance to do some pictures, and we had video all free.
All free.
We didn't have to pay for none of that either.
To the budget.
Back to the budget once again. So we didn't have to pay for any pictures or whatever. So we did our photos, and after that, we ended up heading to the reception. But my dad had a little surprise for us. Do you remember what the surprise was?
What, the limo?
Yeah.
He had the limo,
Yeah,
right?
the one that smelled like gasoline.
Yeah, smelled just like gasoline. Oh man, he drove us all around Griffin.
The guy, he was talking a lot.
Talking the whole time. I'm like, dude, please, just do what you gotta do and get us where we need to get to.
Yeah, because our guests were getting very hungry at the reception.
Yeah.
And it took us a while to get there. Not because we were taking a long time, but just because the limo driver was taking mad long.
Just hitting all these corners, hitting these blocks. I'm like, bro, let's go.
Right. So we ended up finally getting to our reception, and you know, we got there and we had food, and shout out to my aunt for getting like all our wedding planning done and just getting people to like volunteer and help us out, like to serve our family, because like that was like a big piece of like our wedding day.
Yeah, that reception and having all our family there at the reception was a big part of it.
Right.
And you remember the music? You remember the DJ?
Yeah.
Do you remember the DJ? How he showed up?
I remember the DJ. First of all, if you're gonna come to a wedding as a DJ, do us a favor and dress up. The man literally showed up in a
cookout outfit.
Basically,
like he was going to a cookout.
A cookout with his family, and he showed up in a yellow shirt and a yellow hat, looking like a sun on the inside of the establishment.
Like, bro, come on, this is a darn wedding. Come with at least a Walmart shirt. Button up, tucked into some khakis, or some bro came in there with some jeans, look like he got them from like Bugle Boy jeans or something, like with a yellow shirt.
But you know, we say that we're budget friendly, and you know what you always say: you get what you pay for.
What you pay for, and we really got what we paid for.
I mean, he was decent. You know, the music was decent, and it got us through the reception. But that was probably my least favorite part of the reception.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the things we both said we look back and be like, man, that's something that we wish we would have just cut out. And my dreads too, because at the time I was growing dreads. Yeah. And I had them little tweeds on my head.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they didn't look bad though.
Yeah, they look bad.
They
look bad to me now.
But we had the type of food we had menu wise, like we basically had like some finger foods, basically. Well, it wasn't such finger food, but it was kind of like little dinner food, like, you know, string beans, a few finger foods, like meatballs, mac and cheese, wings.
Nothing too extravagant, nothing too where you can just be like,
Because I think we ended up only spending about $250 on food, and that was with the help of my grandma. Yeah. And you remember your parents, they paid for the reception.
Yeah, they paid for the reception, they Holiday Inn. Yeah. Yeah, so. Yeah, so like I said, it was on the budget. A lot of people helped us out at the time, which we really thank. Yeah. You know, really thank them for doing that stuff for us at a time where we couldn't really do it for ourselves.
Right, we couldn't afford it. So, I want to know, how did you feel during our first dance? Because you picked the song.
I picked the song.
Do you even remember what the song was?
The song was, I know was it Kim?
Yeah, it was Kim.
Yeah, Kim.
What Kim song though?
Can't Stop Loving You.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So that one the only song that I know that he did. So
okay.
And my favorite song in a way. But yeah, that was our first dance. Yeah. I remember I picked that song. I feel like that was a good song for us.
It was. I actually still love that song.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually dope. Do you remember dancing with your father? Trick question.
No, I don't.
Because
a little trivia here, y'all. So my dad actually left before the father-daughter dance. So I I was kind of sad. Like, I was really sad, actually. But I didn't say nothing during the ceremony because I didn't want to ruin the day and I wanted to just enjoy the moment. But I also wanted to have that father-daughter dance with my dad because all girls want to do that when they get married.
Of course.
So I was definitely disappointed.
Well,
Definitely disappointed.
Yeah, I know that was kind of disappointing for you. I remember that day. I remember you were telling me about that. I'm like, yo, he gone? Like,
yeah,
he dipped up out of there. But
how did you feel about your first day with your mom? Because it made me tear up.
yeah, she was crying.
Your mom cried the whole ceremony.
Yeah, she cried the whole ceremony.
She did.
Yeah, she had that napkin in her hand the whole time.
Like she always do.
Yeah, acting like she wiping her nose. She was actually wiping tears.
Yeah.
I remember. But yeah, I remember that dance. It was a great dance. Me and my mom dance all the time anyway together. Right. So what did you think about the wedding gifts that we received after?
When we got home?
Yeah, when we got home.
That was okay. They are not... I remember we got a crock pot. I remember that and a couple of gift cards, but we really didn't get much.
No, we didn't.
We didn't get much at all, actually.
Yeah, we really didn't get nothing, to be honest. Compared to what some people normally get, we really didn't get.
I want to say we might have had $150 worth of gifts, maybe.
Yeah, about $150.
Yeah, it wasn't much, but I was glad we wasn't in debt because one of the biggest things that happens to couples when they plan weddings is they get in debt, and that was important for us. And we actually walked away debt free. Like we had our wedding, our small wedding, and we were happy with that. But if we could redo our wedding, what would you change, or would you change anything?
Definitely the videos and pictures. You know, because a lot of that stuff, you know, we really don't have now to this day. We got a lot of pictures. I think we don't have our video.
No, I could never find it.
And our video quality at the time was kind of bad, but you know, like I said, you get what you pay for. We didn't pay for it, so But if I could go back, it would definitely be like the video and the photo because that moment, you know, you want to have that to be able to remember it all the time.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, obviously, we still have the memory and we do have some pictures, but I do look forward to the moment where we, you know, choose, you know, a time we want to redo our vows and we can get some things in our vow renewal that maybe we didn't get the first time.
Yeah, definitely. So, what's the thing that you wish?
What I would change?
Yeah.
I agree with you about the videos and the pictures, but for me, definitely, I love food, so I would definitely want it to be like catered or have a chef, and also would like just to change the venue. Not because I didn't like the church wedding, but because like now we're older and there's some things like that we can afford now that we couldn't back then. So I would change a lot of that and maybe have a destination wedding or just do something, you know, a little bit different.
Another thing too is that we did not go on a honeymoon.
Oh yeah. We
did not go on a honeymoon. We just got married and
that was it.
And that was it. And if I could change another thing, would be that as well.
The honeymoon.
Definitely have a honeymoon.
Do you have a place that you would have wanted to visit?
Probably Jamaica.
Yeah, you know that's number one on my list.
Yeah, probably Jamaica.
Yeah.
So I, you know, just thinking about it, like, man, I could have pulled it off, but we couldn't pull it off because of the financial situation we was in at the time.
Right.
Which we'll talk about in another episode down the line.
And actually, for me, I think having another wedding is always a good idea. In my opinion, I don't mind doing like a vow renewal and all that stuff, but I also think you should always still keep a good budget and always do some things that you want to do at the same time.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to break the bank. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have to do too much to prove that you love someone. At the end of the day, the basis of you getting married is that you love that person and you willing to make a vow before God to say, look, I'm going to love you no matter what, sickness and health, you know, better or worse, whatever.
To death do us part.
To death do us part. Yeah. So I think that was my basis of it. And at the time, I didn't really care. We could have got married in the front yard like my parents did. Or we could have got married at the courthouse.
Like my mama
did. But it wouldn't have mattered to me as long as...
Because it don't take away from the meaning of the marriage.
Yeah, it really don't. It's all about working together at the end of the day.
Right.
And I felt like we knew what we were going into, and, you know, here we are, still here today.
Yeah, so we made it, and that we've taken a few trips since then, but we really didn't take our first trip. I want to say till after 2 or 3 years of marriage, maybe.
Yeah.
We ended up going on like a marriage retreat, and I think that was like our first little like kind of getaway that we were able to like afford and go on.
Yeah, that was.
And it was to like Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach. Yeah, we went to Myrtle Beach with a couple people. So, yeah, that was like our first trip together. Basically, we called that our honeymoon.
Right.
Basically, 3 years after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna wrap this thing on up, huh?
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap up this episode. Thank y'all so much for just joining us today and coming back with us to listen to another episode of the podcast.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. We appreciate everybody for your support out there. Keep supporting us, and we love y'all. Thank y'all, and we out of here.
All right. Peace.